2021 Genesis GV80 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 in the prestige grade. Is this top of the line first ever SUV from Genesis going to put a real dent in the luxury SUV market? Today we're gonna find out. This large 2 or 3 row crossover has been outselling the entire Genesis sedan lineup single-handedly. This is exactly what Genesis needed to take that next step as a noticeable and recognizable luxury brand out there. And with its little brother, the GV70 hitting the market, it's guns blazing for the Korean luxury automaker. And I cannot be more excited to bring you my first ever Genesis review. I've been dying to get my hands on these vehicles for a long time now. And now I can confirm just how good their first SUV really is. This thing is a home run in a lot of ways. It's not perfect, we'll get into that. So let's start with the looks of this vehicle. I think the thing that you're gonna notice first on all the GV80s is the large kind of fence-like lattice mesh pattern grille. It kind of reminds me of a chrome-plated Lexus F Sport grille, and that's not a bad thing. I think it looks pretty good, and the number one thing about it is it's gonna catch your attention. No one will mistake this for any other luxury vehicle. Maybe they might do a Bentley because the Bentley logo looks very similar. So that might be the exception, but this vehicle definitely looks stately on the outside. With the quad lamp LEDs on the front and rear, that's definitely unique to the Genesis lineup. And then you have those bisected blinkers on the side. They look really sharp when, especially on the outside when you have those blinkers or hazards on. But in this prestige grade, you also have the massive 22-inch wheels with 5 spokes with that lattice design kind of on the interior of it. I think it looks really sharp, and this vehicle, even though it has those huge wheels, rides really well. We'll talk about the ride here in a little bit. I also want to talk about the key fob. The key fob looks really good overall. It has a great feel to it. I wish the Genesis logo on the back was tilted and went the length of the key fob, so it was a little bit bigger on it. It looks really small. But you do have that smart park feature on that key fob. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to use it in my garage to park it really close to the things I wanted, so that's unfortunate. It definitely wants to have space around the vehicle, and I get it. It doesn't want to risk crashing itself, but yeah, I just wish it could be used in garages and tight spaces. But overall, the key fob's really nice, and you need that key fob to get into this exquisite interior. And I think I'm gonna have to pull over because there's just so many things about this interior to go over, and I'm not gonna be able to do it while I'm driving. Let's start with the doors. All 4 doors, soft close, amazing. Anyways, amazing is the name of the game with this interior. These seats with the diamond quilts, this tan interior is amazing. I can even move forward the passenger seat for a VIP guest to sit in the back so they have better leg room. I can tilt it forward, I can recline it, really cool. I can even do it through the screen here. This 14-inch screen is absolutely amazing. But I want to go back to the seats, and you actually can control the side bolsters here. You have all sorts of lumbar control, and then you have thigh extensions as well. Soft touch materials everywhere. It's unbelievable, the fit and finish and the quality materials in this vehicle. And the one place where you don't have soft touch is way under here. So you have this little cubby down here, which is really small. You're not going to be able to put a whole lot of stuff in there, but you have that scratchy black plastic down here, which again is fine. No one ever sees or touches that area except for the seatbelt. And the seatbelt holster, you know, with the red press button, it's covered with this black felt material. So if it does come in contact with that scratchy black plastic, you're not going to hear it or notice it because it's deadened by that felt that they put on the seatbelt holster. Amazing touch there. The wood ornamentation is absolutely gorgeous. And then you have this really cool shifter knob, which has a ton of detail in it. So that looks very crystal-like, very opulent. Anyways, you also have a rotary dial, which I'm not a big fan of the rotary dials in any vehicles. I'd rather just use a touchscreen, which you can. And then there's also this touch-sensitive piece inside of the rotary dial where you can type in letters and things like that for the digital driver's manual, it's a complete waste of your time. Don't even try to do it. You'll want to run your head through a wall. So even though it looks aesthetically good, I'm never going to use it. I'm going to use the touchscreen 9 times out of 10. The only benefit I see for the rotary dial is you're able to flip through your radio stations really, really quick. That's the only benefit I've seen. Climate control. Yes, you can do it on the big screen here, but there's also a small LED screen, color by the way, where you can do your climate control, heated steering wheel, heated ventilated seats up here. You also have heated and ventilated seats in the rear, guys, with power seats in the rear, recline, moving forward. It's quite incredible. Even though I have climate control dual knobs, I don't have that same sort of functionality with the rollers here for tuning and volume. Steering wheel. I am absolutely in love with the steering wheel. The feel of it is so incredibly soft. The Genesis logo looks awesome on the steering wheel. Some people don't like this design. They think it's old and outdated. I'm head over heels for it. I love this particular design. The center part almost looks like it's floating off of the area, the silver area that has the buttons and dials on it. And then behind the steering wheel in this Prestige grade, you have a 3D display. It's kind of cool. You have different levels of it, but in order for it to work, the infrared sensors have to read your eyeballs. So if I get really close and pull far away, it like has to readjust and refocus based off where your eyes are. So that's kind of weird and trippy. And you have to make sure the steering wheel is not covering the sensor to read your eyeballs. So it's kind of picky, but you can turn it off altogether if you don't like it. The sound system in here, the Lexicon sound system, is phenomenal. It sounds way better on Sirius XM than it does on HD FM, which I haven't had that experience in a lot of other high-end sound systems. So that's kind of disappointing, but it does sound really, really good when it is on that Sirius XM. And the pano sunroof has a huge bar across the middle, so that's kind of a disappointment, but you have vanity pop-down mirrors for the passengers where that bar is, and this entire ceiling is covered with this really high quality suede-like material. And strangely, in the rear where the third row seats can go, this model doesn't have that option. But above where those third row seats would go, you still have the lamps back there as if you did have seats. So they're on the ceiling and you can press those lamps to shine light down on what would be the third row seats, but you can illuminate your cargo instead in this 2-row model. And go figure, I forgot about 2 more features. A 360 camera in here is phenomenal. Don't need to talk about that too much. But the heads-up display displays tons of information, which is great. Unfortunately, I have it in the highest position without cutting off information, because if I bring it up higher to a more acceptable level, it cuts off a lot of the information. I lose it out of my line of sight. I'd have to like lower my head. But the heads-up display, where it works for me, is not in an optimal position because it's sitting way too close to the hood, and it's kind of off of where my eyes rest to look at the traffic. Like, it feels like it's several inches below, and that almost mitigates the purpose of a heads-up display. So you don't have to look all the way down between your steering wheel to see the information. You can just, you know, see it without moving your eyes a whole lot. Unfortunately, it sits way too far low, and I sit up too high for me to take advantage of the heads-up display. So that's unfortunate. It probably works a lot better for shorter drivers. And the last next level feature in here are the rear sunshades. It took me about 30 minutes to figure out how to turn them down. I would give myself the boomer title because I was looking for a sunshade button. I was flipping through the climate control on the big screen, the small screen. I was looking for a button. I couldn't find it. All you have to do is just roll down the window, folds down those sunshades automatically. So it's built into the window switches here for the driver, and then also back there as well. So, but other than the boomer sunshade moment, everything else in this vehicle has been very intuitive and easy to use. The 14-inch screen, lastly, I'll probably just finish with this. It is gorgeous. If I want the navigation up, this is where it kind of is a letdown, because the voice recognition works a lot of the time, but if I wanted to take me somewhere as specific as the State Park beach here,
please say a command.
Take me to Delnor Wiggin State Park.
Messaging is available.
It thinks I want to send a text message, and so I'm just going to cancel out of that. And that's unfortunate, because if I want to do it a little bit more efficiently and go into Android Auto, so I just go to Home and then I click Android Auto, check out how easy this is for me to go to Delnor Wiggins State Park. Take me to Delnor Wiggins State Park.
Sure. Down there Wiggins past State Park.
Just like that. Unfortunately, Android Auto takes up literally half the screen. So your 14-inch screen gets choked down to a 7-inch screen if you want to use a more effective navigation like Google Maps through my Android Auto. So that's kind of a letdown in this gorgeous display that it's kind of nerfed with the Android Auto functionality. But I'm all done with the interior, the gadgets and gizmos. We're going to go into the driving impressions now of this amazing luxury vehicle. This has the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. We're going to put it to the test as we get onto the road here. Let's flip it into sport mode and let's rock and roll. Okay, red light. So that put a damper on it. 375 horsepower and 391 pound-feet of torque. That torque is available pretty much right off idle. I'm gonna flip it back into comfort mode here. The revs aren't as aggressive in daily driving. Yesterday I took this out to the Orange Groves. 6.2 seconds is what I was getting on average, 0 to 60. Make sure to watch that video. It was a lot of fun to test this 375 horsepower twin turbo V6 0 to 60. It is heavy. It's almost a 5,000 pound vehicle, but it scoots really, really well. Miles per gallon, not great. I'm getting 17 miles per gallon, but what do you expect? This thing's big, heavy, and it has lots of power. So that doesn't really surprise me. The 8-speed automatic is pretty good. It downshifts pretty quick. I have no complaints about it. Now this vehicle is all-wheel drive. Every single 3.5 turbo engine setup here in the United States is all-wheel drive, but it's a rear-wheel drive based vehicle. So it's definitely more dynamic in the turns. And this RAV4 is really dampening our fun here. Okay, RAV4 gone. Let's push this vehicle again one more time. I'm just in comfort mode, 3, 2, 1, push. And it just takes off like a rocket. This thing has incredible power. Is it necessary? Absolutely not, but this is a luxury vehicle. And I really want to test out the 2.5 liter turbo with the 300 horsepower, the 4-cylinder. I think that would be adequate power for this vehicle as well, but the 3.5 liter twin turbo is an absolute gem. The quietness of this vehicle is so impressive. Even though it has the massive 22-inch wheels, this thing has incredible composure on the road. It handles the bumps and unevenness so well, and it's just so quiet and comfortable. It just feels like you're gliding like a true luxury vehicle. It handles really well, and I've already caught up to the RAV4, so I can't push it too hard, but I'm going to take it around this turn. And the steering is very direct, it is very accurate, and it handles way better than you would think a 5,000 pound SUV should. So I love the handling dynamics of this vehicle. The only thing when it comes to the driving characteristics of this vehicle that I don't like, is I'm going to slam on the brakes here, are the brakes. I don't like the progression of the brakes, and it might have something to do with the downshifting of the transmission. It feels like as the transmission is downshifting, the strength of the brakes change and the rate of the deceleration changes as it downshifts. And I understand that the transmission is helping make the vehicle come to a stop, but at the same time, it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence with the brakes, as its effectiveness in the brake pedal is changing as the vehicle is decelerating. I hope I made sense there, but it's just not the best braking experience, and I'd give it probably like a B, which is not great. And that's like, I feel like the only thing when it comes to this vehicle that is kind of a letdown. The car stops really well. There's no one behind me, so I'm going to slam on the brakes again. The car stops really well, but you also have a ton of pitch, and when you come to a stop, you wobble back and forth like a teeter-totter, and that is not the most luxurious experience in this vehicle, the amount of pitch and dive you have when you're coming hard on the brakes. And like I said, that brake feel is just not where it needs to be to match the rest of the vehicle. I feel like the rest of the vehicle, I can't fault it really for anything. So this vehicle has one chink in its armor, and again, as I come to a hard stop here, is the dive, and when you come to that stop, it wobbles a ton. It almost makes me a little nauseous. And then the lack of a natural progression and linearity in the brake pedal is definitely a letdown. But for me, it's something that you can get over in this vehicle. And I think it's time to sum up the first ever luxury SUV from Genesis, and in this prestige grade, it's hard not to be satisfied. The amount of technology, amenities, comfort, and just attention to detail is extraordinary. The powertrain is definitely luxury with almost 400 horsepower and almost 400 pound-feet of torque. The acceleration is euphoric in this vehicle. The quiet and the smooth nature, even with these massive wheels, is really, really impressive. And the driving characteristics, other than the hard braking and the teetering that goes on, it's really fun to throw this heavy SUV into the turns because it does gobble them up very, very well. And for $73,000, there's not a lot of unique competition to this vehicle out there, because all of its Asian competition, they don't have the powertrains to match this. And most of them don't have the nice quality interiors to match this either. Now, it costs a little bit more than the top of the line Asian competitors, but those are all front wheel drive based. So really this vehicle competes more so not with its Japanese luxury rivals like Infiniti and Acura and Lexus. It competes more directly with the Germans out there and those rear wheel drive setups. This vehicle undercuts them and gives you more power for way less money and gives you a nicer interior than a lot of them for way less money. So it's in a very unique spot in the market here in the United States and for around the world for that matter. Genesis now operating in China and in Europe, and those are not easy places to open up shop for a luxury division. So I wish them the best luck there, because this vehicle, for what it is, the amount of value and performance and comfort and just the full package here is incredible for the money. But the Genesis GV80, I can't recommend it enough. Now I know why. I see a ton of them out there on the streets. If Genesis can fix the braking feel and the teetering, this vehicle is nearly perfect. And guys, I'm going to end it there. What do you think about the Genesis GV80? Definitely try one, try it out. I cannot be more impressed with Genesis' first ever luxury SUV. The GV70 is going to follow in this thing's wake. Guys, I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, smash the like button. Make sure to check out that 0 to 60 video that I have on this GV80. Make sure to subscribe for more Genesis videos, news, and reviews like this one. I'll catch you in the next video, and peace out.